Hi everyone. Sorry, not in class today, but I wanted to give you a little bit of our last bit of content for the early childhood section. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a lecture capture of what we would have done in class today. Oops, there we go. So we left off on the parenting styles. So I just wanted to kind of take you through these. These are probably something that are familiar to you because of the fact that it's covered in a lot of different areas. So the authoritarian parenting style is very much the military or restrictive parenting style. It is a my way or the highway, and there isn't much in the way of communication. There's a lot of limits, a lot of control, a lot of punishment and consistency, but you can see with the results, the social incompetence. Kids are basically afraid to talk or anxious to talk, or they won't do things, initiate activity because of the fact they wait for someone to tell them to do something as opposed to them taking that initiative. So the one that our students usually get mixed up with that is the authoritative parenting. And basically this is parenting style that is very balanced. You have a lot of verbal give and take, so a lot of communication. You have a lot of love and nurturing. If it's not one that doesn't come without expectation and discipline, though, it's very balanced. So you have all of the things. It's the hardest one to do because it takes a lot of time. And as you can see, it shows in the children. Their outcomes tend to be very achievement oriented. They cooperate well. They deal well with stress. A lot of this has to do with the consistency of routine and knowing what to expect. This is the non-parenting style. Kids that are not parented or parented when it's convenient to the parent. That's basically what we've got here. Very uninvolved. They lack self-control, the children do, because they basically are parenting themselves. Often this is seen with cases of neglect, or even with parents that are single parents or both parents working where their children are just not a priority. So these children don't have self-esteem often. It's lowered because of the fact that self-esteem is built through repeated expectation and then reinforcement for meeting expectations, and there just aren't any here. And then our last one is going to be the indulgent or the we're friends parenting, which obviously doesn't work well. These parents are highly involved, but they don't make their kids do anything. So the children often have an issue with self-control because they never learn to control their own behavior because they always expect to get their way. They don't know what no is. These are parents that basically become a resource for their child, that they are there for their kids to use. And in the parent's mind, it falls on, the child is a golden child, so anything that is an issue falls on someone else's fault. So you often see kids that don't share, kids that don't listen, kids that don't comply. In essence, parenting's hard. There's no short way out of it. The idea that we can use, music or CDs for parents, or we can use even nowadays apps that are supposed to take the time of things that parents do. Kids just want us. They want us, and they want to be with us. So often in the child's mind, the best toy is mom and dad. Parents often beat themselves up about working. So this is just a slide that really talks about the okayness. It's okay for parents to work. First thing, we're seeing a lot smaller parent or family sizes. So back in the day when we had large families, the kids got the same attention that they do now because it was divided amongst a bunch of children. Also being an over present or mama's boy type of thing where you are basically doing everything for the kid, helicopter parenting, that doesn't necessarily have a positive effect either. And then the last thing that if you have the traditional family, it is going to help continue the gender stereotyping that you see. So kids will only know that mom is the stay-at-home and dad is the worker, that sort of thing. Peer relations are very important in this time frame. They do help kids get a lot of information outside of their family. However, there's all sorts of positive and negatives that come with that too. It's necessary for kids to interact with peers because it does help them with social development, and it also helps them develop relationships as they move on. They actually do studies where they look at sociometrics, and they find that kids that are, rejected by their peers have potential negative issues. Television/media, there's so much of it that's happening right now. I mean, kids spend a lot of time on a screen of some sort. So obviously, negatives are time from homework or schoolwork, the passivity of their learning style. If a child watches different things without monitoring, you're basically letting them see things that you wouldn't teach them. So stereotypes, aggression, unrealistic views of the world. However, there's a lot of good stuff out there too. It just depends on the monitoring of the parents as well as the correct choosing. So educational programs or pro-social behavior, that sort of thing. I don't think that we're reducing by any means the amount of time that kids spend in front of screens. I think if anything, it's probably increasing. In the 90s, it was about 11 to 28 hours a week, and it's something that they do more than anything else aside from sleep. In the COVID era, where a lot of people are staying home, that is going to just exacerbate these numbers that we're seeing. And again, if you don't monitor what your kids watch, even worse situation. And the last one that I want to just talk about is how media impacts children's levels of aggression. So this is kind of a hot topic. A lot of people have seen a relationship between violence and aggressive behavior, and it's modeled on TV. The results so far are correlational, which basically means that you can only associate it. You can't say that it causes it, but you can say that there is definitely a link between the two variables. So again, it just comes back to monitoring screen time, monitoring what the child's watching, that sort of thing. So I am trying to find my screen. I have mucho screens open. So again, make sure that you check your email, look at that survey that I sent. I'd love for you to complete it so that we can have a kind of a debriefing on Wednesday, if you will. I really want to just talk to you guys and figure out how we can best move forward after November 20th. So please take time to do that, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.